their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
This is breaking news from Radio Cayman.
I'm April Cummings with a developing story. Police are investigating a report of a robbery, a customer at the Scotiabank branch on Old Crew Road. Police are on the scene right now. A portion of the road was closed to traffic. According to the initial report, no one has been hurt in the incident. The call came in about 12 minutes after 11. As I was heading into work, I did see some police activity in the area. It looked like some cars were being stopped. We will bring you more information as we receive it. April Cummings, Radio Cayman News.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. It's another fantastic Friday's edition of Talk Today. And if you are increasingly, being encouraged to go online and see us, and more, we bring excellent people through our studio today. Hey, we got a special treat for you because in addition to our guests, we're hoping the fine gentleman will join us as well. A little teaser. It's not like the soca song, "You ain't nothing but a teaser." It's not like that at all. So stay tuned for this Friday's frank discussion on Talk Today.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255. Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and thank you. And on the eve of a long weekend, as we celebrate Monday for all that it offers, I'm honored to once again sit. I trust that you had a chance to listen to Mr. Art. He brings great guests into the studio. So big shoes to fill, and I'm glad to be able to facilitate as we welcome Ms. Kristen and Ms. Mona from the agency. Ladies, thank you publicly for accepting the invitation to come on. For me, it is a distinct honor to be able to sit there, but specifically today to invite young professionals.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I think, Ms. Kristen, most people know you in all your walks of life. And you can, if you so choose, a quick intro. So it's Kristen Alexander, if you want to share a little bit of what you want people to know in the sea. Because in this environment we find ourselves, it's not just about positioning the programming. It's not even about policy development and sort of, people empowerment. It's about sense and sensibility. It's about love. The agape love. It's about sharing and caring, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Beautifully said.
Oh, thank you. I imagine what I could say if I had a script. I genuinely love life, and I recognize the challenges, the trials and tribulations. I know. But if you have a joy within, even the hardest of days, the walk can be lighter if people draw alongside and help to lighten your burdens. And I think a smile can do much. So thank you all for bringing not just the intellect, the enthusiasm, but the insightfulness and the energy.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. We're really excited to be here.
Wow.
I'm sorry for the voice today. I'm getting over a lovely cold that my children have brought home. So
Don't
apologies.
they bring on the best things?
Oh, always. Yeah, we're so happy to be here. And just a little bit about us. We're both agents at the agency Cayman Islands. The agency, they're brand new here. So we've only been in Cayman since the end of last year. Brand new to the industry, not globally. We've been around for since 2011.
2011, yeah.
So yeah, we're here to hopefully talk about a really exciting opportunity for first-time home buyers, and just to kind of share a little bit of insights into what's happening in the market, and to invite people to this great event, because we are so passionate about bringing information to people that sometimes you get started in, or you'd like to get started in the home buying process, and it's so confusing and it's so overwhelming. So
especially with the ever-changing market.
Yes. We're trying to simplify that and just make it more accessible to everyone.
That's the thing, accessibility, and the idea that maybe we think we know something, but maybe we didn't actually remember it or know it to the extent that we should. And buying a home or navigating any transaction of that magnitude can be daunting.
Absolutely.
And terrifying.
Yeah.
And you're worried about, well, what if and what if not? But having people guide you, you know.
Absolutely. I think it's great to have professionals just walk you through the process. It can be scary. It can be daunting, as you said. It can be, there's a lot of steps to go through. So having us actually by your side, it makes the process a lot easier. I've been in the real estate industry for about 10 years, and I started working with buyers, and I still do. We love working with buyers. So I think our seminar that we're going to be putting together on June 29th, it's going to be a really good seminar for first-time home buyers to come have a look, have a listen. We're going to have a great event for them with lots of information. So it'll be good.
And I have to do a plug here. So CIBC First Caribbean is also, they're wonderful people. They're going to be joining us for the event. Miss Rosanna Ebanks is going to be there, and there is a special rate, special interest rate that will be provided to the attendees. So if they want to come and access a rate that is nowhere else on island, this is a perfect opportunity to do so.
And I think it's timely, not just only this discussion, but I call it a workshop. Maybe you might want to tell me what I call it. There is a change in geopolitical landscape. There is a change marketplace in Cayman. There are concerns of, not just property prices, but potential foreclosures. And if you look at the U.S. market, or this particular market, maybe somewhere in the West, maybe seeing a little shift. This one here is picking up. Things are not as static as they used to be. Things are not as consistent across all sort of geographical areas. And we can't think that because it's happening there, it's going to be the same here. It may be better, it may be worse. It's knowing your own sphere.
Yeah,
I think every market is different. With COVID ending and life going back to normal, inflation, interest rates, there's a lot of ups and downs, as we know, with everything, especially the real estate market. So interest rates, it's looking like we're going to be going down towards the end of the year, hopefully early next year. I think right now they're trying to freeze rates. So when that happens, it's only going to move the market up.
I appreciate you sharing that, because even in our own legislative assembly just the other day, our parliamentarians are talking about the need to have some sort of interest rate setting body. The need to have dialogue with the banks, and sometimes we, the general populace, expect certain things without an understanding that it doesn't work like that. But our economists coming out of Europe are saying, according to reports, that they're a bit bewildered. My word. Wait a minute, we've seen prices going down in terms of supply, but we're not seeing it reflect in terms of inflation, but we're not seeing it reflected in the pricing. And they're questioning, well, is it that the producers and the suppliers are able to hold on to higher prices just to milk the consumer, unlike the expected economic trends, where as inflation drops, prices too will do the same. It's interesting.
It's interesting. I mean, cost of material hasn't gone down. And we do have to ship everything over to the island. So all of that is not only costly, but timely as well.
Timely.
So usually bigger sectors such as real estate, they take a little bit of a longer time to adjust and kind of balance out. And that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing a more balanced market. Whereas before it was an aggressive seller's market. We're seeing a more balanced market right now. I don't think, given Cayman and its strong economy and all the new, construction going up, I don't think we're going to be going into an aggressive buyer's market anytime soon. And real estate, it's always best to buy and wait rather than wait and buy, because you're always going to be gaining value on whatever you buy, even if it's just a parcel of land. Which is actually
you're hedging inflation. I mean, the property may increase in value because of inflation, but you haven't lost, the dollar value. You just forego liquidity.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. So I think if you can get into the market, especially first-time home buyer or first-time investors, get into the market any way that you can. Partner up with a family friend, go in with a parent, but just get your foot into the market and start gaining value.
We have a beautiful land registry system, easy to navigate.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Extremely reliable. The confidence that we have in it. You go there, the information they tell you, that's legit. You don't have to worry like some markets where there's this or that.
Right, yeah.
Once they give you that certified stamp, that's what my mother would say by belief. You can go and I take it to the bank, you take it to the courts, it will stand its own.
Yeah,
so absolutely. And you're seeing how fast prices are in value. They're going up so quickly than any other market, right? I also do real estate in Vancouver. I can tell you confidently that it's the amount of time that when you buy in Vancouver, it's pretty much the same as here. So, and that's a way bigger market, and you have way more properties and way more land as opposed to here. But Cayman Islands real estate market is very strong. All right.
When we come back from our break, we'll invite our callers if they want to share and ask questions. We will tap into your expertise and experience. We'll also ask you if, some of the projections, what we've seen, and nobody has a crystal ball. I don't necessarily think that if you did, they should use it, but that's a different story. And it's about human behavior and perceptions and expectations and the like. And it could be the theory of the self-fulfilling prophecy, but Cayman has always been a different sort of market. Maybe we'll unpack that and see what it looks like. Politicians will listen. We give them free advice. No, let's pause and take that break before I get in trouble. Join us right after the break.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips for all occasions and celebrations. Let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
It's hard to shop for Dad, isn't it? He seems to have everything and loves anything you buy, but you want that special gift. So now is the time to head down to Christian Enlightenment Center. You will find Christ-centered resources that educate, encourage, and inspire. Show Dad your appreciation for his love, kindness, and the strong support he's given over all these years. Make Christian Enlightenment Center your first stop for Father's Day gifts that will leave a lasting impression on your dad's heart. Christian Enlightenment Center.
Open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6 at the new location on North Church Street, beside the Burger King on the waterfront in Georgetown. 945-1252.
I've got some beautiful clothes. I know just where they go. Puritan Cleaners.
Puritan Cleaners, now using the most popular and eco-friendly cleaning solvents. 2 convenient locations to serve you: Savannah Countryside and Eastern Avenue, Georgetown. Drive-through, rain or shine, free pickup and delivery services available. Call Puritan Cleaners, 949-7104. Also ask about our in-house discounts. Puritan Cleaners, you feel good when you look good.
Puritan Cleaners, 949-7104. That's 949-7104. You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. This summer, I going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, and now Panama. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal this summer.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And thanks to Kristen and Mona for sharing with us, an extra opportunity to get a perspective on what it may look like for not only the first-time buyer, but for the seasoned investor. And as we see the changing real estate market, it's good that you will share, your perspectives for us. So the phone lines are available if you have a question or a comment. You just want to maybe make a query. 949-8037, 949-6990. Of course, toll free at 1-800-534-8255. For some of us, though, if I may ask, we're excited about that purchase of our first home or our first piece of land.
Absolutely. It's exciting time.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I remember wanting to buy my first piece of land. And, well, you're only 12 years old. So you mean I can't buy it? You gotta wait till you're 18, age of maturity. So 12, okay, that's a long time away. And I would chase the bulldozer when it was clearing the property. Two things were there, the Arnolds and me. I was there. So when you get 18, well, sorry, you're not quite old enough yet, but I guess I'm going to co-sign. It always seemed to be in some impediment. Mm-hmm. And yet, there are those who pursue that because they're building wealth. But they also see the benefit of what physical, tangible ownership of something like that. Now, I may have had great advice and great examples, but there are other people who not even quite sure where to begin.
Yeah.
And some markets, it's almost impossible to find out who to call and where to start. But in Cayman, wow, information is free and readily available.
Yeah, absolutely. I think do your due diligence,
Mm-hmm.
interview if you want to move forward with a real estate agent.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely interview 3 or 4. And have professional advice moving forward. And our first-time home buyer seminar will be able to actually provide all the steps from A to Z and how to get started and how to move forward. So, yeah, we can definitely talk about those when they attend.
We want to ask you to remind us more where and
of course
where and how to access. And we see the 29th of June.
Yeah. So the 29th of June, we're going to be setting up at Bluestone Lane from 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. So it's a really short, very casual info session. We're going to be serving refreshments as well. So if you're coming off of a long day, we'll have nice refreshments for you. Yeah, we're going to be taking registrations. You can email myself. So that's kristen.alexander@theagencyre.com or Mona. Mona, you can do your...
Mine will be mona.mirzaie. So that's MIRZAIE at theagencyre.com. Or you can just give us a call.
Yeah.
I think that would be easier. And we've got a sign up form on all the social media, so Instagram and Facebook. It should be out today.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. You've got 2 weeks. We'll keep posting. You guys can give us a call. We don't have a lot of seats available, so I think
Yeah, it's
as
limited.
many.
Yeah,
it's limited.
I think we're taking 25 seats.
Yeah,
And this will be the first of many seminars.
Exactly. So this will be the first one.
If you don't get onto this one, fear not. We'll obviously be in touch with you and invite you onto the second.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Is there a cost for this seminar?
There is no cost, so it's completely free. We just want people to come and sit and just take in all the information and ask us questions, any questions at the end. Obviously, we have two sort of different categories of buyers as well. You've got Caymanians and you've got people that are qualifying for the stamp duty waiver. You also have other buyers, people that are potentially looking for residency, which is another really popular sort of category for us. So we're inviting everyone to come. We want to share information for obviously both sort of sets of purchasers. We're going to be sharing really relevant information in terms of, how do you get started in the process? Who are the contacts that you need to have?
What your costs will be.
What your costs will be. What can you expect when you put in an offer? What are the steps that come after that? So really, really detailed information on what to expect when buying property here. And obviously it's a changing landscape as well when it comes to the pension law that has currently changed. And we just want everyone to have as much
information
info as they can to make the right choices and to just have that level of confidence going into the market.
And to try to get everybody to get into the market. I think that's what we are going to really push for. I think it's important. It's important for anyone that can, if it means, taking some money out of your vacation budget or going out budget or whatever, the car, put it into real estate. I think it'll be a smart investment.
There's some ones that had a perception, though. So when you go to the bank and there are fees that they're fixed, they're not negotiable. And then there are some who will say, well, everything's negotiable, and you ask the bank, is it 0.5%, is it 1%? Can you do something? Maybe understanding whether it's negotiable, how to approach that negotiation. Can you waive the legal fee? Is it something that is set in stone with a commitment fee? Are those things that we could help people to appreciate how to ask what is sort of fixed, what is even interest rate? Is that negotiable?
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, and
I think that's why we've partnered with CIBC First Caribbean. They want to come in and they want to detail all of those things for purchasers. And yeah, it's an ever-changing sort of landscape, isn't it? So it's understanding how to navigate that landscape, asking the right questions, relying on the right professionals to do that. So yeah, that's what we're really trying to accomplish.
As a listener, maybe whether you're first time, but in particular first time buyer, maybe understanding what would help you in your presentation, what you bring to the table. If you come into the bank with a good job, solid employment history, maybe you never own, but maybe you rented, your landlord says, Johnny's been here for the last 3 years, payments on time. That may not be considered, but at least will give you some sort of credence.
Absolutely.
But if you come in there with have a credit card debt or even a credit card limit, a car loan, your debt service is affected, how do you position yourself to make it more attractive to the bank as a viable risk?
Absolutely, you definitely have to prepare for purchasing your first investment. You have to prepare and put some time aside and make sure if you are in debt, obviously clear some of that up. And but once you're in, you get your foot in the door, then you're only it's like getting a tattoo. Once you get that one, then you just want to keep going. I don't have any tattoos, so but I've heard it.
I've heard it as well. I still not getting any. Although I do know one individual has one and one only.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Well, maybe that's.
Or it could be like the chocolate. Once you have that piece of chocolate, you just can't stop eating.
No, but that's a different story. I can relate to that.
I think we all can.
Yeah. Chocolate is in a spirit zone,
Yeah.
Us. Chocolate. Oh, sorry. Let me focus.
We have to go on a break now to eat some chocolate.
Yeah, I think we should. I think we're gonna go look for chocolate. Definitely during our break. Thank you, Mr. Nolo. But the fact that for many of us in life, we feel that we have to back our own water, and it's good because if we do, we'll value every drop, right? But there's some ones who I understand that the weight can be a lot lighter if someone genuinely walks alongside and helps you to shoulder that. Not equally. Sometimes they'll carry more. Sometimes they'll just take a small percentage. But it's that sense of being overwhelmed, even when we don't realize what's happening.
Absolutely.
We don't know where to begin. And I call myself very favored because I had sisters who could guide me. I had a different experience. I would call the bank up. I knew who to call. They gave me the numbers. And I said, I'm looking to purchase. I want to know, And the bank I ended up with was because the gentleman, he appreciated, despite being young, you had an insight. The others were almost offended. Well, where'd you learn this from? Well, I read it. I talked. I have sisters. And I found out to be weird. And in preparing for today's discussion, I asked a couple of people, 10. Left it to 10. It's not a large number. Some have made multiple purchases. Some are as old as I am. Some are still looking to purchase. And the experiences haven't been much different. Now, I haven't cast a wide net. And that when they approach the banks, there isn't that reception to guide. And I thought that was unfortunate. There was only 10 people. So maybe it's just... But for 2, they're all male. So that could be a problem too.
I definitely think there is not enough, free information being put out here in regards to what we were putting out, home buying process, and just enough information for people to have access to and realize, okay, it's not that hard and it can be done. I just need to get organized and I need to just know what's going on and know the steps, and then I can, because I think once you put the information out, people that are serious and want to move forward, whatever their timeline may be, it might be 3 months, it might be 5 years, but if they actually want to move forward with this, and they plan accordingly, and they follow our kind of steps and, attend the seminar, they'll be able to move smoothly through this process, and it's going to be very valuable for them. And, it's one thing you've learned, and it's just added to. Yeah.
It's about the knowledge.
I also think it's about having people understand and setting realistic expectations, because a lot of people, when they look at getting financing, they think that, I think it's a misconception. They contact the banks and they think that someone is waiting on the other line and they're going to be, yes, you're qualified, go for it, purchase that home. But really, there are so many steps that need to take place before that.
Absolutely.
So having a banking relationship is super important. Going in, establishing a relationship with a bank that you trust, having a contact in the bank, setting up meetings and finding out what you're pre-qualified for. A lot of people start the home buying process and they have no idea. So they start looking at properties at, the $500,000 mark, when they go to the bank and they realize actually they should have been looking at the $300,000 mark all this time.
Yeah.
So I think it's giving people, empowering them to be proactive and saying, okay, go and make that relationship with your bank, know what you qualify for, set up everything that you need to be successful. So hand in all of the information, get in your due diligence on time, send in your job letters, have those things done. And I think that's what we want to...
Pay your bills on time.
Pay your bills on time. Try to get rid of as much debt as you possibly can before looking at buying a home. I think that if you set a realistic expectation of what the process looks like, and you tell them, right, you found a property, congratulations, you put in an offer, it's been accepted. What can you expect after that?
Yeah.
The bank will normally tell you, if you need financing, it's going to take you at least 4 to 6 weeks. So it's knowing all of those things before you start looking. It changes people's experience of the buying process and about dealing with banks.
Yeah.
So then, are you saying that you know what you're looking for, understand from the banks?
Yeah.
What's the phrase, pre-approved? Is that such a
The best
concept?
way is to make sure you're pre-approved before you start the home buying process. Don't make any big purchases. Don't buy a car before, 2 months or 6 months before you're going to buy a house. Buy your house first, and, wait and buy your other smaller purchases after, because that does affect,
you're looking at debt ratio,
So... but yeah, get pre-approved before you start looking. It makes it a lot easier. It makes the process a lot better for you. And
all right. Well, let's pause, take this break. When we come back, I'm learning stuff, being reminded of stuff. Hopefully our listeners are likewise. And There's probably for some of us no greater joy than owning your first property, or whether it's a vacant land that you look at and dream, or whether it's that home that is so quaint, with a little mound, some call it a hill, or it's, that mango tree that has been planted and you watch it grow for one day, you'll put a swing underneath. But if you don't start somewhere, it'll only be a dream in your head, right? All right. When we come back from the break, we invite you to share with us. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
This Father's Day, celebrate the hero in your life with the perfect gift from Reflections Clothing Store. Sales, sales, sales. Save 10 to 75% off brands like Dockers, Levi's, US Polo, Nike, Reebok, Puma, Adidas, Nautica, and more. From timeless classics to modern trends and athletic wear, Reflections has the perfect fit for dad. Save even more with our clearance baskets. Everything priced $10 or less. Don't miss the chance to save big while making dad look his best. Celebrate dad in style and save 10 to 75% off on Dockers, Levi's, US Polo, Nike, Reebok, Puma, Adidas, Nautica, and more. Only at Reflections Clothing Store, Shedden Road, beside Mango Tree, and across from Kirk Napa. Open Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. till 8 p.m. Friday and Saturday, 9 till 9.
Prevention is key. Is your heart at risk? During the month of June, Baptist Health International is offering special pricing for cardiac CT scan for calcium scoring for just 99 CI to patients at high risk for heart disease, the leading cause of deaths worldwide. You are a candidate if you are 40 to 65 years old and have any of the following risk factors: obesity, current or recent smoker, family history of heart disease, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, or diabetes. To request an appointment or for more information, call 749-3304 or visit baptisthealth.ky.
Barry's Golden Jerk, the Cayman Brac sensation, ranked the #1 restaurant in Cayman Brac by TripAdvisor and home of the authentic jerk. Barry's Golden Jerk, serving large portions of the best jerk chicken and pork. Open Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday near the airport, or call 917-6713. Barry's Golden Jerk. It's simply better.
Are you tired of waiting in long lines at the pharmacy just to fill a prescription?
If what, child, let me tell you.
Well, now you can save time and money with ValueMed's online prescription service. Visit ValueMed's new website, valrx.com, and click the Refill Subscriptions button. Fill in your information and choose your preferred pickup location. Or email your prescription refills for ValueMed Walkers Road at rx-wr@valrx.com, and for ValueMed in Boddentown, email rx-bt at valrx.com. Say goodbye to the hassle of waiting in lines and hello to the convenience of online prescriptions with ValueMed Pharmacy. Visit valrx.com to place your orders today.
Still looking for a gift for Father's Day? Digicel has got you covered. For a limited time only, buy your dad a brand new Samsung A04 and get our Prime Ultra plan for free.
Give your dad the perfect combination of a cutting-edge device and unlimited connectivity.
Supplies are limited, so don't wait. Buy your dad a brand new Samsung A04 and get our Prime Ultra plan for free. Visit a Digicel store today.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thanks to Ms. Kristen and Ms. Mona for joining us. They're from the agency, and I'm hoping that we who are looking for maybe a nest egg for ourselves, maybe enter the market for, get a piece of the pie. Maybe you're looking for something for our children. Just navigating that landscape is helpful. So you have, just for first-time home buyers, repeat it for us, or for that seasoned person that might want a little insight.
Yeah, so our seminar is mainly focused on first-time home buyers and investors here in the Cayman Islands, and how they can navigate that market, how they can get started. Kristen, anything you want to add?
Just the date again. So it's actually June 29th, 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. At Bluestone Lane. If you want to register for the event, please email kristen.alexander at theagencyre.com. And Kristen is spelled Kristin. Gets misspelled all the time, but that's
Yours
okay.
too?
Yes, absolutely.
Not a K, but a C.
So yeah, we'd love everyone to come. Limited seats, so please, if you want to register, please do so early.
And the cost again?
It's absolutely free.
So just your time, and you come away with the knowledge.
Yep. Just it'll be nice. It'll be nice for you guys to join us, to get to know us, so that we can meet face to face, get to know the brand, and we'll have some takeaway information and goodies for you guys as well. And yeah, let us know.
And there are many of us who will find any justifiable reason or justify the reason we find to not attend something. I don't have anything to wear. I got to do my hair. I got to pick up the children. There's always some excuse. For this, what are you asking? How do we dress? Do we just show up?
You just show up with a big smile, and that's it. That's all we want. You can. There's no. It's very casual. We'd like everyone to have a shirt on, but
shirt and shoes preferred.
Shirt and shoes preferred. But very casual. It's free. So come on by, have a seat, and just give us an hour of your time to have gain some knowledge on how to get in the market.
Exactly. I like you said that. I remember going to a particular dining establishment with a good friend, and the sign says shirt and shoes required. He said, does that mean pants optional? I was just wondering.
This is a good point. We would also prefer pants.
Yeah.
So I'm just checking. No, but it's like anything, if you're willing to invest in yourself, you want to be healthy, well, there are a few things you might need to do. And sleep is one of them. Exercise is important, but not just what you eat, but when you eat, and maybe even how you eat. Do you take the apple and just swallow it whole, or do you take your time and chew it? Are you doing that at midnight and then going to bed, or are you trying to do it before 6, 7 o'clock in the evening? We've got to invest in ourselves. We've got to be serious about that. And this is an investment in knowledge to help navigate what could be very daunting.
Yep. No, absolutely. I agree. I think invest in yourself, learn. Learning is never a bad thing, right? And like you said, it can be a very daunting experience. I think we're able to just open it up, and it's not as scary as it seems. Once you're in the market and you're approved, you will feel so amazing, and you're just going to want to keep doing it and keep adding to and growing your real estate portfolio.
And maybe for some of us, we'll get not only acquainted with the terminology, we may actually have it defined so we understand. We said earlier the debt service ratio. Many of their probably understand what it is. There might be one who says, well, I'm not quite sure. Perhaps you can explain that for them either then or now.
Yeah.
And is that ratio standard across all the banks? We know some banks will look at, a 33% debt service. Some might say we'll go to 40. And all it is your commitments, your, obligations every month as a percentage of your salary, not your groceries and the like. But I'm told for some banks, they may say, well, are you paying strata fees? We'll put that in as well. Your credit card is a zero balance, but you have a $10,000 limit. And they may say, well, your monthly payment would be 10%. So that's another $1,000 that potentially will come out of your credit card. Do you maximize? You may then want to reduce your limit to $5,000 to $3,000, or you may want to say, $1,000. What is your credit card for? Little things that you can talk to your bank about.
And banks are, they have been a little bit more conservative now with their lending. So I think that, those questions are super important. And a lot of them they are asking you very, very detailed questions about your spending because it's in their best interest, and it's in the customer's best interest to know those things for themselves.
And be honest. I mean, there are things that we don't know.
Absolutely. And a lot of people don't want to ask questions. So that's why a seminar like this is for a lot of people that just they don't want to, and they're scared, or they don't want it. They feel like they're not ready to move forward. But once all the information is covered, then they might be like, okay, you know what? I'll go back home and check everything out. And I might only be 3 or 6 months away from being able to go out and get that loan and get my land or my home or whatever the case may be.
All right. Christy, we do have a caller online.
Okay.
That headset is freshly sanitized.
Perfect.
There's Yoni in the team does a fantastic job following the directions of Miss Norma Paulette. All right, let's go to the phones. Ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for calling. And the caller decided, nope.
Oh, no.
They made her put on a headset and that.
Man.
Well, our guest will only be with us for a few extra minutes, but maybe in the future we'll come around and have that discussion. Try this line. Hey, welcome. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Hello. Good afternoon. There's a caller there. If you're looking for the chocolate, come off the street. No, I know sometimes technology is a wonderful thing. It can be a problem.
Yeah.
Not sure what it is. I saw the guy press the button. He took off the plastic cover, so it's working. Try again. I think he'll see if he can connect us up.
No worries.
But if not, you guys get back to work. I'm here.
Yeah.
What inclusion would you want? Start with you, Kristen, in a moment.
Sure.
Our listeners to be reminded, not just about the workshop, the 29th, but anything that you want to share with us.
I think that it's mostly about empowerment. So this is really what we're trying to provide by hosting this event. We want people to, I think, have confidence. This is a tricky market. You know, the global economy is we've all been watching it. And I think people are scared. I think they're generally kind of head in the sand, right? If I'm not trying to get into the market, if I'm not focusing on it, then it doesn't affect me. But this is the time to get into the market, and we want people to feel confident and empowered and really use the information that we're going to provide to take the next steps and secure their piece of Cayman. You know, there's a lot of Caymanians that I would love to see get into the market. I'm saying that, obviously I'm very biased, but I'm very passionate about it.
Yes,
so,
indeed.
Yep.
And our parents would talk about, beach land was, given away.
Exactly.
And now we wish we had peace. So things will change. Ms. Mona, you're...
I mean, you covered it beautifully. It is really about empowerment and knowledge and feeling confident to move forward with such a big decision. It is a big decision, and it's a very life-changing decision. So you want to make sure that you've got all the information that you could possibly get to move forward confidently.
All right. Well, if it's of value, either before a quick reminder, but definitely after, maybe another conversation about it.
Absolutely.
And as people look at purchasing real estate, whether it's a house they can occupy or some other structure, or so just a vacant land of a dream that they may want to develop in whatever fashion, or they might just want to hold it as a potential investment. We want people to get started and to understand and to appreciate and realize it.
Yep.
You guys have a great weekend.
Thank you for having us.
If I don't chat with you before then, may the seminar be extremely successful and people will attend and come away with good knowledge.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to pause. We're going to take a break. Hopefully Isaiah will find his way in the studio, because it'd be good to have company. There are a few things that you can do by yourself that is fun. And right now I struggle to find one, but maybe you'll tell me. Join us after the break.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. Police are investigating the robbery of a customer at the Scotiabank branch on Old Crew Road. Police are on the scene and a portion of the road was closed to traffic. According to the initial report, no one has been hurt. In international news, a gunman accused of killing 11 worshippers at a Pittsburgh synagogue in 2018 has been found guilty by a jury in the U.S. state of Pennsylvania. The federal trial of Robert Bowers now moves to the sentencing phase, with the court poised to decide whether he should be given the death penalty. The October 27th assault inside the Tree of Life synagogue was the deadliest anti-Semitic attack in U.S. history. Bowers pleaded not guilty to all 63 charges against him. The jury convicted him on all counts after less than a full day of deliberations. UFC fighter Conor McGregor has been accused of sexually assaulting a woman after an NBA Finals game in Miami earlier this month. A legal letter outlining allegations sent to Mr. McGregor and seen by BBC News states the alleged assault took place in a bathroom. A lawyer representing Mr. McGregor said the allegations are false. Mr. McGregor will not be intimidated. The City of Miami police said an investigation had been opened. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
For the latest in news and information,
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
The headline news are brought to you by Health Services Authority.
Health Services Authority is now offering online payment options for patients. Patients of HSA can now pay their bills, including deposits, towards scheduled services online at payments.hsa.ky. The secure, new online payment system accepts debit or credit cards and is in addition to the available payment options of cash, check, and online bank transfer. For quick, easy, and secure payment directly from your phone or computer, visit HSA's new online payment system at payments.hsa.ky.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Darby Bernard Tibbetts, MBE. Bernard Tibbetts has spent his life serving the people of Kimmerbrak. In his youth, he communicated with the island's ships by radio telephone, keeping seamen in touch with their families. He later became a wireless operator and was transferred to Cable and Wireless when it took over telecommunications in the Cayman Islands. In his 45 years working in communication, he undertook private study, enabling him in his spare time to do photo processing and repair the island's cars, trucks, radios, refrigerators, and air conditioners. He also established a family retail business. He served as president of the Kimmerbrak High School PTA, director of Kimmerbrak Power and Light Company, deacon of Stake Bay Baptist Church, trustee of Little Cayman Baptist Church, and member of the Brack's Hospital Building and Development Committees. In 1983, he was honored by receiving the MBE directly from Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. Mr. Bernard sings and plays music and has written a number of gospel songs and tracts, as well as a paper about life on Kimmerbrak before the modern era.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
Water Authority Cayman would like to inform all its valued customers and the motoring public of emergency works along West End Road East in Cayman Brac. To facilitate these works, all customers east of Billy's Supermarket will experience a service interruption at 1:30 p.m. for approximately 1 hour. Motorists and other road users are asked to proceed with caution while in the area to ensure their own safety as well as that of the Water Authority staff. The Water Authority apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause and thank you for your patience and understanding.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you very much for joining us. It's Friday, right, Paul? It's Friday. Want to have some fun, Paul? I talk to you, you talk to me, and only they hear me and not you. How about that? Okay, so I got to tell you what Paul just said. Because if he doesn't jump in, now just kidding, he's not saying anything. He said the phone lines are open. Remind them of the numbers. 949-8037. 949-6990. Toll free with the kind compliments of flow. Someone still call it Cape and Wallace. Well, 1-800-534-8255. 949-8037. 949-6990. Of course, the toll-free line. But here is also another option. WhatsApp. You can call. You can send us a message, whether it's something that we read or it's a voice note, something that we, air for you. That number. calling it. It's the same as messaging it. 925-32-61. Now, we've been probably listening to the politicians sharing their perspectives. We may have eagerly, with great anticipation, listened to the contributions in the Legislative Assembly recently. Well, let's go to the phones. Welcome, good afternoon. Thank you for calling.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you today?
Excellent, excellent. How are you?
Well, I think I'm all right, and I hope that all your listeners are all right, and they've got some patience to listen to me for 2 minutes.
Well, I thank you for being so willing to share with us. So, trust you're all right as well.
Well, thanks very much. Well, today I had a little bit of a chat with OC and Ms. Teresa Pitkin and Dr. Steve McNeil.
Mm-hmm.
On a matter. Well, in a sense, I suppose one way to start it is to refer to what the Honorable Premier referred to in his speech yesterday or day before to the, I forget what the occasion was. It was similar to a Chamber of Commerce.
The parliamentary luncheon, I think we call it.
Oh, yes, I think it was.
On Wednesday, was it right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Wednesday, yes. I mean, he mentioned there, among a number of important things, he mentioned about how, I was actually shocked to hear this, that the population growth in the last year, I think it was, he said October 2021 to October 2022, was actually 8,000.
That's what, yeah.
Yeah, that's really alarming, because when you think that the population now is hovering around 80,000, 8,000 means that it's been increasing by at least 10%.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I think that's quite a bit. I mean, I'm interested in this subject matter because of the ties I have to people in Cayman, and also I think in terms of my professional fortunes, they lie more with the Caymanian than the other, because the other to me has been more of a problem, although I've got a lot of good relations with people who came to Cayman the way I did. In fact, the person who recommended my call to the bar after I left government was not even a Caymanian. He was somebody from one of the more so-called developed bigger countries. So it's not because of that. But anyway, the point I want to make about that is this. There was a candidate who stood in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
It was Georgetown West. I have to mention him because everybody knows him, and this was something he said publicly in the course of the debate. This was Mr. Denny Warren Jr.
Mm-hmm.
He said, well, look, why don't we have a system whereby we establish how many people are born in the Cayman Islands in 1 year, and then if, say, the number of people born has gone up by 10%, or like say there are 10,000 people who are born in the Cayman Islands, then we will say, okay, in the year that follows, we will grant only a percentage of that. In other words, we won't grant the same number, like 10% of PR and status. We will give, say, 5,000.
Mm-hmm.
But you could define that by way of a percentage, to ensure that the local population is not being outstripped.
Mm-hmm.
And over time, you could even try to ensure that the local indigenous population is growing, as well as, the status holders, of course, who are also Caymanian. So long as the growth is coming from within, you that way you can regulate it. And to me, I thought that that's a very good idea. There are some people who say that maybe the base should be the indigenous, or maybe they include the status holders, but that's a discussion you can have. To me, I think that's rational. It will be proportionate. And I think what he also pointed out, and some people have also pointed out, is that, look, in England last year they had 606,000 people, legal and illegal, who came in. And Rishi Sunak is saying it's too long, it's too many.
Mm-hmm.
We want to bring it down to 100,000. In other words, you want to bring it down by about 1/7. Okay. So if Cayman decided to do what he is suggesting, And I think there are a lot of people in Cayman who support that idea. I do not think that it can fail if, say, somebody challenges it in court. I think it should be able to succeed because it's not just rational, but it is proportionate. It is reasonable in every respect. And but my only complaint with the Honorable Wayne Panton, who I like, I don't think he should have been saying that. Look, this is time now for us to find out from Caymanians and what they want and so on. No. I think the Caymanians know what they want and they have expressed it. What he should do now that Dr. Steve Maxfield has finished working with his team on their report on immigration reform, he should take that and use it as a basis to make some clear policy decisions and implement it. I think the time for discussion is gone. If there is still a discussion about it, it should be winding down. It should not be beginning. It should be winding down just to iron out the creases, if you like, and then move it forward. Because otherwise, I think you guys have lost your country. You've already lost it. You have to get it back. And I think if you get it back, I will also find it very, very comfortable to try and find a niche, a professional niche where I can continue doing certain things, such as I've been doing for the last 20 years, although for the last 2 to 3 years, I have not been in Cayman, but a lot of my causes in Cayman we're still pursuing to this day. So that's my little view for today, Dwayne. I think time for talking is finished. The government needs to act. People have said what they want. It's as simple as that. Otherwise, I thank you.
And thank you too. And if you have a second, and only if you wish to engage, because as you were speaking, I was looking at a couple of messages, and as I said to the person on the other end, I'm paying attention to you primarily because you're talking, right? But your last sentiment that you're now typing, you shared that, perhaps we have lost our country in a sense. I do not know to what extent Mr. Steve's committee, how that will play out and what the public will know of whatever transpired and what will come of it. But it would appear that from what you were sharing and what the caller or the listener on the other end was relaying, it would appear that a lot of information is already quote unquote out there, as the person phrased it, but not out there when it comes to Caymanians being aware. And the listener was referring to possible changes that are being considered that almost seem to be a fait accompli relative to some changes in immigration. With the listener's consent, you shared the population was hovering around 80,000. This individual thinks, well, what if it's closer to 103,000? Right? Very specific number that he gave, right? And when I asked him why, his response was then, well, the view is that we have a larger population than what a census has counted, and the consequence of that may mean that the country has become so increasingly dependent on that number to keep the businesses going, but the government on the fees that are generated as a result of business licenses, work permit fees, and all the other ancillary sort of taxes was the word that the person used. So with that in mind, what, if anything, can we as a country do, or perhaps I would add, consider should be done if we're going to bring a semblance of stability and civility and quality of life, in light of the fact that many are saying, one, the traffic congestion will only get increasingly worse no matter how many roads we build, no matter whether we restrict cars or restrict who can own cars, and then the costs, because of increased numbers bidding up prices for land, labor, and the like, will only continue to become higher and higher and potentially out of reach. So are those things that we need to consider? Are those things that we have possible answers?
Well, what you've outlined, Dwayne, is defined how complex the issue is. But I don't believe that it is so complex that it has to be left the way it is, although that's not the argument, or that whatever has to be done should not be drastic. No. As you know, just about everything that you ever do in life is complex. There's what you call your opportunity cost. By trying to achieve something, a higher ideal, sometimes you might lose one or two things. But what you try to do is to ensure that you minimize any negative impact, if any. There's not even a guarantee that there may be a negative impact. It might all be positive if you do it right. But even if, for example, you were to give allowance to the fact that there may be some negative aspects to it, you still have to do it. Most decisions are not taken on the basis that it's absolutely a solution to everything, but that it will promote the greatest happiness, the greatest number, with the minimum possible negative effects.
Mm-hmm.
You've mentioned, for example, the issue about traffic. To me, the traffic one is just a proxy for the broader issue, which is the immigration issue. Now, I know that the traffic issue has partly been made worse by, I don't know if I want to call it poor planning, but I think these are things which should have been thought about a little bit earlier. Every time, when you had to drive from Georgetown to go to East End and North Side and so on, there was always it is like you are going round. There's like no easier way to get there, and that's why they're thinking about the east-west arterial.
Mm-hmm.
But and so all these related issues, for example, about, well, should we allow foreigners who come in to buy cars? I don't even think that that's a fundamental problem, as much as I have to acknowledge that it's a legitimate discussion. But I think, to me, I find it of greater value in the sense that it defines and leads you to the bigger problem, which is the immigration problem. You see, business will have to be considered. You talked about money, about the fees that people get and all that. All those things, you see, can be reconsidered. Today, the legal practitioners bill, for example, it has envisaged something now where you can be outside of Cayman, still pay fees to the Bar Association for your license, and practice while you are outside. Maybe in future that is something that a lot of businesses might want to consider, since now, due to COVID, the blessing in disguise in COVID was that now we realize that actually we don't have to go to work in a sense, in a physical sense. A lot of places now, as you know, I don't know about in Cayman, I know in Canada certainly, a lot of places now have adopted this system where you are required to come in at least 3 days in a week. The rest of the time you are working from home. Now, that increases the possibility that people can still pay some of these fees which in Cayman are required to be paid for them to get licenses, but they can still be able to work from outside. That's another area which can be looked at. I just believe overall that once a policy is made by government to say this is our policy, we don't want to increase our population. Any increase we have in our population should not be drowning the locals. Once you establish that as the aim, okay, then you try to work the other policies in such a way that you achieve that aim. And to me, unless you do that, there's a problem. At the moment in Cayman, frankly, you get on the aeroplane, you go to the airport, to the hotels, and so on. There are no Caymanians there. If somebody was to ask you, after you come to Cayman, you can stay in Cayman 2 weeks, and you go back to the States, and then somebody tells you, can you recognize the Caymanian when he's speaking? They'll tell you, no, I can't. Why? Because the Caymanians are not a majority, they're a minority. That's a very important issue that has to be dealt with, in my view. Because if you were to grow, let me just end on this point.
Yes.
If you think about the United States has got a population right now about 340 million. It's about there.
Okay.
Now, if it was taking about 10% increase in population of people coming in, that would have to be, in my old math, something like 35 million. The United States doesn't take in 35 million every year. Far from that. It takes in a few thousand, and yet they are complaining. So this is unprecedented. You have to take care of it, and the government cannot talk about it now. They have to make a decision and move on it.
Yeah.
And there are people who are ready to support them technically doing
Right. Well, I appreciate. I don't want to monopolize your time, belabor the point. I'm always appreciative of what you're sharing, but I want to be respectful that, I'm at work. You have things to do. There are a number of comments that have come in, but I'll share those in your absence. Feel free to weigh in as you wish, and thank you, for sharing your thoughts.
Well, thanks very much. I thank you very much, Dwayne.
All right. Have a wonderful afternoon. All right, and a great weekend. To our listeners, it is open line. We are more than willing to engage in any discussion. Whether we know anything about the topic, we can listen. Whether we actually understand what is it you're saying, we can ask questions and try to. But the desire is to ensure that you feel a warm welcome, invitation, and almost an obligation to share your thoughts. If this is a democracy, if we live in a free and somewhat fair society, we must be able to speak publicly. I've always believed that in doing so, there are probably only two things that are important. Speak with a degree of respect in the way you say and to whom you say. You can speak with authority and compunction. You can speak with a great sense of passion, and in your impassioned plea, you can still be, mindful of, how and where you're saying what you want to say. There are many of us who are challenged because maybe we have been trained, we've become conditioned and accustomed to have expletive-laden language, and that can be, in our minds, result in a level of hesitation. But nonetheless, with a little thought, maybe we can, with a little bit of acceptance and understanding, maybe we can allow people to share in their own voice. The second thing is speak, as implied in the last comment, from a considered perspective. It is your opinion. You may reference something you read. It may be a statistical fact that you question or that you use to support your comment. But don't let that frighten you. Don't let anybody tell you you don't have a voice, because the minute that is taken away, then it won't be long after that you're laid away in shackles. 9498037. That's one number. We'll give you the others in a second. Let's take this call first, though. Hey, welcome. Good afternoon. Thank you for calling.
Hi. Am I in that class today? What grades you giving? A's and B's or C's and D's?
Right. Well, no. I know many people will give out grades. They'll give you an E for effort. They'll give you an A for putting your name on the paper, and some will give you a passing grade for just showing up. I believe, honestly, you want something, you gotta work for it. And when you earn it, you'll respect it. When you value it, you'll appreciate it, and you'll share it. And like you always get an A because at least you share your perspective. We may not agree with what you say, we may not follow your logic, your reason, but at least you have the courage to share. So thank you.
How you doing?
Oh, thank you for asking. I'm doing great for two reasons. One, it's true, but two, if it wasn't, I believe the way I believe in, so it will be. And I don't know about anybody else, but there's some days when you look at what you have and you go, man, if this is wealth, I must be the richest person in the world, because you got to get up. And then there are days when you look around and you go, what does it say? Cow dead and horse fat, right? You look around and you may be the only one. You may feel like you're the only one. The things that you have labored for and longed and probably even lusted after are no longer within your grasp. But you have health, you have life, you have hope, you have opportunity. And as great as many places are, there are probably none better.
That's true. Saying all of that, I didn't call for this, but since you said all that, I'm going to add this to it. Some opportunity and for us and so forth. There's three persons there at the grocery store lunchtime outside the door begging. Two ladies, that is seniors, and a young man. He could be he could be in his late 20s, early 30s. It just bleeds my heart to know that we got that going on in our island and Sterling. It's probably going to get worse in years to come. But when you see the little guy, he had a mixed I couldn't figure who he really, nationality he was, but I could tell that the two ladies were Caymanians, and it hurt me to the core to see them out there standing and begging the customers as they go into the grocery stores. It hurts, but I didn't call about that, but Sterling, we are here talking about population growth for this island. Sterling, we want population, but can we accommodate the population in this island? Can we? Do we have sufficient hospitals and nurses and doctors? Do we have sufficient prison? Everything to accommodate. We want accommodation, but all I'm seeing for the accommodation is more roads. Now, I don't know if that's what takes to have population and bam, that's it. I mean, we're building these 10-floor buildings and 8 floors and whatever. Are our firemen can handle them? Mm-hmm. Do they have the equipment to go and climb these buildings? And do we have the trucks that can go that high? And, Sterling, it's getting more and more scary on this island as the days go by. Such a beautiful small island. And here we are, too, looking for more tourism. But yet, I've been in this business now for years, Sterling, and I don't see anything new out there to entertain our visitors by air or by boat. The latest thing that came in progress was the north side there, the caves. What else? I think that's the caves came up a couple of years ago. Everything is being worn down. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing being refurbished, rebuilding, add more activities to the location or put more activities, various locations. The visitors that we have come across numbers of times, majority of them, we've been there, we've done that, but we're going to just go to the beach and relax. The beach is what brought them here too. I agree with that 100%. Mean that if I bring them here to the beach and the quietness, but the safetyness was one time, but the safetyness is sliding out our hands, and I can't hear no safetyness, no precautions. What the outlook could be when you do. It's a lot of threats, but you never hear that anybody has been charged or prosecuted or whatever. Mm-hmm. They talk about a pension. I don't know fully how it go, right? But certainly when I was having loan problem with my house, it wasn't no pension to be received when I was desperate of need of help with my house. Thank God that I hadn't had the family that I have. The foreclosure letters that I have, I can make a book of it. You understand? Mm-hmm. But I just want to say, if you're going to go and dig into the pension again, we did it for the COVID. Mm-hmm. Now they're talking about going back into it again. And if there's a couple there that has a house that they can get up to $100,000, I just curious to know if they need $100,000 to pay off their house, are that money going straight to the bank, or is that check going into that individual hand? If they owe $50,000, is that money going into the bank? Mm-hmm. Or is it, are they going to call them at the pension to give them a check and they have to see that this money went where it was supposed to go? Because Sterling, I feel within years to come, all this pension breaking down right now, the assessment, their walls going to drop down.
I can understand your concerns as, would be, relative to a person taking money and not using it, not only for the intended purpose, but not using it in what we might think would be a better way, or even the best possible way at the time. And with that in mind, though, if I may specifically ask you, if the system was such that, despite what has been debated and approved, that a person could, very simply, they have a balance on their loan. I can't call it a mortgage because it's not a mortgage. On their loan that they bought to pay off their house or their land, and they could withdraw from their pension every penny, and that would either A, pay down that loan substantially so that that new payment might be so reduced that they can afford it, or paid off completely. That was the only option. Despite what pensions are supposed to be for, would you be in favor of that?
No, not to a degree, because in pension it's a retirement. There's a retirement money that you can live off of when you get in your retirement stage and so forth and so forth. Because Sterling, sometimes a quick fix here in Cayman is not the answer for these problems that we have in here. And a lot of people are looking for quick fix, and then it goes to the house looking quick fix. But I mean, if they're going to give me $50,000 and I want to owe $20,000, you know, I go and I rest of that money. I go and buy me a car and buy me a Rolex, and then next couple of months, then my rooftop is leaking. And where am I? Got water dripping on my head.
But this is it, man. It's something that I think increasingly we maybe not looking at things as exhaustive, if possible, as we can. Perhaps we're exhausted when we do look at these things, but in saying that, I'm reading something that someone is sharing, and on one hand, I think they're typing something else. So on one hand, just quick to paraphrase, and the person is saying that we don't want government to be so involved in business. We don't want to be laissez-faire, that they're intrusive in our lives. But on the other hand, we're asking government to put in place laws and policies that guide us, almost like, you know, putting rails along the way to keep us on a straight and narrow. And I messaged back to ask, and maybe I'll ask the public, to what extent do we want governments to direct and dictate our lives?
Yeah. Well, I don't know much about government, but and politics and so forth. But you would think that government's supposed to be able to be there to pick up, free, but not every time you fall. And government not supposed to be there every time that you feel that you can go and throw your parents into the pines, and the government got to hold a full responsibility for them, and they got their children still good and healthy, got good jobs, driving nice cars, and go and look for the parents once in a blue moon in this place, and just kind of like, why can't the elders live home like they used to in my grandmother, my mother days, in your family days? We got to build these homes in just about every district to accommodate people. Sorry, and it's not really loving and caring to know that we're going to take our mother and father, throw them, I'm going to use the word, throw them into the pines for someone else to take care of them and mistreat them and pinch them up and ignore them when they say they want something to eat or something to drink, or not giving them medication on time, because who do they have there to watch them to make sure that they get them medication on time and so forth. So in this world is getting wicked and wicked every day. By the minute, people is being spiteful. They're only seeing the gain of a salary check. Yeah. And they do not care what the end result turns out to be in the future.
Right.
And
well,
go ahead.
No. As I listening to you, I'll be mindful how I say this, because I say this, I like to learn. Sometimes I may ask too many questions, because it's only through listening that we can learn. I think when we talk, we can only repeat what we have heard or know. But if we listen, we might learn something, right? And in the Cayman context, I've always believed that our economy is quite different. Now, there may be those who may talk about the hot money that was in the economy, those who may speak to other things. But in the absence of a level of political education, economic knowledge, and willingness to embrace what I think, forgive me, my personal view, what is an inherent ethos in our own people, that spirit of entrepreneurship, that spirit of caring and giving. All of us as Caymanians were probably very, very intimately aware of the phrase share and share alike. Right? As we lose insight of what we are, and maybe we need to refocus on where we want to go and what we want to be as a people, and we can cast the gate, you know.
We are losing. We are losing by the minute who we are, because the island is growing rapidly. It's growing in a lot of wrong direction. And the few Caymanians, I'm going to say it like this, the few Caymanians that we got left here, they are being thrown to the side to a degree, but yet we sit down and look at the other nationalities who come in and they can work together, but we refuse to work together. And what our problems are to working together, I don't know. Because if it's jealousy they can't feed you. And if it's attitude gets you nowhere in life. So, and envious don't get you nowhere neither. So, I mean, why be envious you because you're working in a radio station and I'm home calling you? No, I wouldn't want your job to do money. But I enjoy calling the station.
I hear you. Well, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
But seriously, we need to see and find out where are we heading with the population, and we do not have things in order to accommodate the population. We do not have it, and when are we going to get it? Our firemen, I don't even know half of them, but I'm feeling for them already, knowing that we putting these buildings down, and I don't know if this free concession that these investors are getting, if they're going to help these fire stations and these police departments to be equipped for when they need to come out, and I pray they never have to defend a fire or anything in that category. But I want to know how equipped these people going to be at hospitals. How are they going to be equipped, and they have enough rooms if anything happens on this little baby island? But I know your time is up. So
No, my time now. God is. No, just kidding. I know what you mean. But we got a couple of calls. But thank you for sharing that. And
bye, darling.
Have a wonderful afternoon. To our listeners, join us after the break. To the callers, please stay tuned. And to that wonderful lady that just called, thank you for sharing your perspective. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
They say variety is the spice of life. And that's why at Subway, we're introducing the new Boneless Hot Sub. Say what? The premium sub brings new ingredients like spicy breaded boneless chicken, French's crispy fried onions, and buffalo wing sauce, bringing a zesty and flavorful experience with every bite. Add some of your favorite veggies, cheese, and ranch sauce of your choice of freshly baked bread for the ultimate boneless hot sub. For a little spice in your life, try the new boneless hot sub from Subway.
So good and tasty.
And make it a meal with a drink and chips or cookies. Subway. Eat fresh. Why replace when you can respray? At Granite Express Cayman, we can completely transform your old kitchen cabinets with a fresh kitchen respray for just a fraction of the cost of buying new ones. Big news! Our summer special promo is here. We are offering kitchen countertop specials up to 50 square feet installed for only $1,595 CI for granite and $1,895 for quartz. We can make your dream kitchen come true and at a price to suit all budgets. Call 922-0424 for a free estimate, friendly service, fast installation. Hurry, limited time only while supplies last. Visit graniteexpresscayman.com.
She hear clunk and her car stop. I was just about to send her some money, so I send it straight to her JN money transfer card. It cost me less, and perhaps she use the card, pay the garage right away. She'll get discount through the JN Rewards program in Jamaica. This card make things easy. You can even get funds at any multi-link ATM.
JN Money Transfer Card. Fast, affordable, convenient. Tell your loved ones in Jamaica about it. Sign up is free.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. This summer, I going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, and now Panama. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal this summer.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Water Authority Cayman would like to inform all of its valued customers and the motoring public of emergency works along West End Road, Cayman Brac. To facilitate these works, all customers east of Billy's Supermarket will experience a service interruption at 1:30 p.m. for approximately 1 hour. Motorists and other road users are asked to proceed with caution while in the area to ensure their own safety as well as that of the Water Authority staff. The Water Authority apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause and thank you for your patience and understanding.
Always ensure that food preparation utensils are washed with a strong detergent and rinsed in hot water in the event that they have made contact with flood water. Boil silverware for 10 minutes and immerse glass, porcelain, china, and plastic items in a solution of hot water and 10% chlorine bleach before use.
For more post-hurricane food safety tips, visit DAH website at www.gov.ky/DAH.
A reminder here that your Yesteryear Musicals Father's Day edition comes your way on Saturday evening at 8 o'clock on Breeze Radio. Sunday is Father's Day. Your Yesteryear Musicals Saturday evenings at 8 o'clock on Breeze Radio. Entertaining, enlightening, and inspirational. Topical with CI cultural and heritage flashbacks and the wonderful music of yesteryear. From the Thomas Edison era to the recent past. Your Yesteryear Musical, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on Breeze Radio, 105.3 FM in Grand Cayman and 91.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your Yesteryear Musicals, Father's Day edition, Saturday evening at 8 o'clock on Breeze Radio.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. It is open line and a couple of calls in the queue. Thank you so much for holding on. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hello.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Doing?
Yes, sir.
Elvis Jeff from McKee. How are you doing, brother?
My brother, I am blessed and highly favored, man. Trust the same for you.
Yeah, man. I'm smoking some high grade, praise the Lord. You know, Dwayne.
Yes, sir.
I hear the premier right here all one talking about the banks with the interest rates and the bank say they can give 30-day notice. What a piece of bullshit. Penny reduction. Hey, listen. You know, Bo Miller, one of the smartest people in our dispensation, like Dr. Steve McPhail, Miss Pete Kieran, Mr. Risa.
Mr. Risa.
You my farm now. She's the Anderson, you know. Original Anderson. Call my grandmother the Anderson. My when we Anderson, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I know where I'm coming from. Now I know where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
No. I listen to the intellectuals and I learn from them. And I had a privilege of taking a picture with Dr. Frank Dr. Steve when he was up here. I got a picture with Dr. Frank too, you know.
Okay.
All them. philosophers of love. And the banking system, do you know why the Cayman Island is so prosperous? Because our old fathers understand, and the people preyed upon our honesty and our truth. Now, we got the glorious banking system going on, and we got a ghetto system that can ruin our country. It's the middle class that came on. It's fading so fast, you wouldn't believe it. And the problem is unscrupulous, bite-paid business people from all over the world. 114 nationalities. And once they bury their roots, they're not hiring no Caymanian. You listen to me, Fred?
Yes, sir. Very, very closely.
Tell me something. If you plant an East Indian mango seed, you're not going to get a Jula mango or a Hayden, right?
You're not getting number 11 or sugar mango either.
You get East Indian, right?
Right. But I'm also told if you take it from a grafted tree and you plant it, you'll get the tree that was grafted from another seed that you thought you ate.
Thank you.
Okay.
Now, all the money that going through the Cayman Islands, my brother, if we took a 1% from, let's say, 20 years ago, we will have a surplus of about $4 billion. And they ain't going nowhere. That's a myth. Now, let's say if we implement that right now, after this election, right? Within 2 years, we could alleviate all of the foreclosures. Because we could lend people genuine Caymanian. Nobody got $500,000 house. Listen to me. I live in a Section 111. They got termites in it. And I'm happy. It's mine. Every Caymanian could have a house. Paying 1% is just the legal fees of all the money going through. I talked to the financial wizard, the leader of the opposition now, Roy McTaggart, financial wizard. I know no financial wizard, you know, but I ain't no fool. I started business like getting through out of school. You understand? You know what he tell me? Oh, well, it could be so complicated. All the lawyer talk to, all the financial, oh, well, Elvis, that would be. Tell me something. Gain your silver.
I am listening, Mr. Elvis. I'm hanging on with bated breath because as you speaking, right, I'm wondering how many others are trying to take on board what you're sharing. So I'm listening intently, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
So now we're getting to the bone. Again to the marrow of the bone.
Yes, sir.
When the war in Ukraine started, just over a year ago, within 6 months of the war, I don't think it might have been that. The Cayman Islands government was up on the boat saying, we have froze $7 billion. Not million, you know. I stand to be corrected, and I know I'm not wrong. $7 billion of the oligarchs' money, right? Right. $7 billion. Now we can freeze that within 6 months. but we can't take a quarter of a percentage.
Or even 1/10 of 1%. All right. Mm-hmm.
Tell me. Just stupid. I won't question. You know that.
Yeah, but I thank you for exercising the decorum.
I will not do that.
I know, sir.
I will. How can we be so sane? No, I mean, I think it's knock down the money with a touch of a computer.
Mm-hmm.
Like I do, everybody was online. What we can't take 0.5%, 1/4%, put it in the Cayman Islands bank and lend to our people with 1% just fee. And every Caymanian could to buy no car now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And stop letting go of our property for. Look at we begging people to take our country. When you get point system for only land, Canada say you can't buy no land for 2 years. We must have a lot of land that we want people, beggars, also them, criminals, buy one piece of land, get point system. Something is wrong with the story, my brother. Every time I hear what talk to the banks, it's pathetic. Tell me something.
Mm-hmm.
If you take away 1/4%, 1%, 0.5%, you think they're leaving? That's a goddamn lie. It's a myth. Mr. Dwayne?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you for taking time to share, sir. Have a great weekend, sir. All right. Take some more calls. Welcome. Good afternoon. Thank you for calling. Hello. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Great, man. Thanks for sharing, man.
All right. I'm glad to be on air with you because it's been a while I haven't picked up the phone.
Well, I'm glad you found time today and listening to what you have to share, man. Thank you.
Concerning to where the lady before else were talking about with the pension.
Uh-huh.
I kind of agree, just like what she said, to some degree of giving people their money. Because right now and over the years, I've had a pension, and not pension, a similar to investment, insurance investment.
Like an annuity of some sort.
And the only people that normally benefit are the providers.
Mm-hmm.
Stock market or anything, wherever they're spending their money takes a hit, it does that on the losing end, not the providers. So if it's a 20-year or 30-year time that, you go invested inside of it, if it's maybe out of 20-year, 30-year loan that you have and you paid it down to say 5-6 years, I see that it would be right for you to give you the remainder and take that burden off your head. But if I were government, I make it mandatory because as I see in this country, they're quick to react when they're supposed to put things in place to protect against stupidity like this happening over and over. During the COVID crisis, yeah, that was a good thing, and we see how that ended up. Not a good way. Some people bought cars, some people traveled, and they're right back down in the same dilemma, owing the financial institution on their mortgage. I would pay the money direct to find out, but let government take control to do the checks and balance to see if it makes sense that you will be entitled to it based on what you owe, and if you're working or not working, what is it? If not, government pay it off. Take control of the title until when the person could pay the government. Because I somehow I believe it's some concoction with some of the government members, or if not in parliament, that in different departments and statutory bodies in this country, because there's no way in God's name, and as she say, needs assessment will be the one that's picking up the end of the bottom on the bag whenever it comes to all of these people that taken from the pension.
Right.
It's so clear that civil service can do it, but private sector can.
Yeah.
And I got this mentality that what good for one, good for all. And if they could get, I think it's only fair for us to get.
So it should be, if it's good enough, then the civil service should get it as well. If it's not good, then it shouldn't be across, is what you're saying.
That's right.
Right.
Because I don't think it's right now that they get the opportunity to do a double dip when we're not,
right.
And we all going through the same problems, need it be insurance, light, mortgage, whatever it may be.
The cost of living affects everybody.
Yeah.
Can I ask you something? Sorry to interrupt, but can I ask you, let's say someone takes the money and applies it to the mortgage, pays it off, pays it down substantially, generally applies it. Do you think there should be a restriction also in place where the banks, now seeing the person is debt free, has a better debt service ratio and says, okay, Johnny, when we lend you money to buy a car, take a vacation, you're now free and clear, and let's get you back into debt, because the banks are there to make money on interest, right? So should there be a restriction on that as well? Or what would stop the banks from doing that again? I mean, it's a big person, they can do with their money they want. Now they have liquidity and a better debt situation.
Totally. We never know what the circumstances may be, because sometimes it could be something into medical, or it could be something that may be
right.
And usually some very kind-hearted, and they'll put themselves to death. They'll cut off a limb.
Uh-huh.
And that's kind of very, very questionable. If you should, and then again, you got to make sure that the person either financially stable,
mm-hmm.
if still there, even though retirement, there are some people still go back and work,
right,
and guarantee that person having that job, say, for the duration of the loan.
Yeah, I mean, I do recognize, sorry, the hour, but the reason why I ask that is that if we're going to restrict the legal adult and what they do with their pension money in terms of spending it on a TV or paying off a mortgage, should we also restrict the bank to say, you can't do this? If we can't restrict the adult, and we can't restrict the bank, it's at what point are we going to be responsible for ourselves?
Yeah, but truthfully, I think the bank have a lot of this to do with it, because they do who they want, and I believe it goes after praying after the individuals that they know are not stable. Sometimes that's what I believe, because there's no way in God's name you could tell me I'm on the road picking up or taking handout from needs assessment, and I could qualify to get a brand new car. Hell no. Qualify for a brand new car. What is it? What sort of assets that you really got if you need needs assessment?
Right. But let's go one step further, right? Let's say you go into the bank and you say, listen, I want to borrow, argument's sake, $50,000 to buy a vacant piece of land. And let's say you qualify. Allegedly, and I can't tell you it happened yesterday or today or it might happen tomorrow, but allegedly in the past, people have said, I've gone into the bank and I want to borrow $25,000 towards a purchase of property, but the bank's made it difficult, but they'll give you $50,000 to buy a brand new car.
Yeah, that I know. I experienced that before by old CIBC.
Mm-hmm.
They would give me countless amount of loans to get brand new cars.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't help me get the loan. I lost the opportunity to get the acre lot that I was trying to get.
Yeah.
And hell, behold, I went there a few months after, and back to back, I got two loans.
Yeah.
Brand new cars. Two loans.
Yeah.
Back to back, I couldn't qualify for to get a vehicle.
Yeah.
So bear in mind now, I never went to the same institution that I
right.
bought the loan for the vehicle, because I had an issue one time that I was paying off the loans and too fast. The bank the loan exhausted.
Yeah.
And if I find myself in a few dollars and I know I could put, say, $2,000 on a $500 per month loan, and I don't know what the next few months, how that money going to be. If you got it, you're going to waste it.
So you may as well spend it wisely, right? Hey, we do have the news break, and I try to respect that, but I also want to respect you and the callers for sharing. Can we pause there and then take the news and catch up with you another time?
Yeah, I'll call back some other time.
Yeah, man. Thank you for taking time to listen, man. Have a good one, okay? All right. Join us after the break. Stay tuned, please.
station is the INT 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Brought to you by Tropical Plaza on Smith Road.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The official King's Birthday events in the Cayman Islands will take place on Monday, June 19th at Government House. The events include the traditional parade at 9 a.m. featuring contingents from the Cayman Islands Uniformed Services and club organizations, presentations to this year's King's Birthday Honors recipients, and the annual garden party at 4 p.m. In international news, Russia has already stationed a first batch of tactical nuclear weapons in Belarus, Vladimir Putin says. Speaking at an economic forum, he said they would only be used if Russia's territory or state was threatened. The U.S. government says there is no indication the Kremlin plans to use nuclear weapons to attack Ukraine. An American woman has pleaded guilty to helping kill her mother and place her body in a suitcase during a luxury holiday at a resort in Bali in 2014. Heather Mack, now 27 years old, was convicted in Indonesia in 2015 and sentenced to 10 years in prison, but was released in 2021. She was arrested immediately upon arriving in the U.S. and charged with conspiracy to kill a U.S. national and obstruction of justice. Ms. Mack now faces decades in prison. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Brought to you by Tropical Plaza on Smith Road.
South Coast Bar and Grill up in Breakers, man, that is the place. For traditional Cayman cuisine, oh, you will love the taste. At South Coast Bar and Grill, we got conch and lobster and turtle stew. And every Sunday, come out with your family for the barbecue.
Enjoy a special menu created for Father's Day. Reservations recommended. Call South Coast Bar and Grill at 947-2517 to book your Father's Day lunch or dinner.
For Cayman and cuisine, the talk today is South Coast Bar and Grill.
Are you ready for an incredible opportunity? Switch to Digicel this June to win a round-trip flight for two. Yes, that's right. By switching to Digicel, buying a Prime bundle, or simply paying your bill, you could be jetting off to any of the breathtaking Cayman Airways destinations.
Imagine exploring stunning beaches, vibrant cultures, and making unforgettable memories.
Visit a Digicel store near you to make the switch today. Seize this amazing opportunity. Digicel, better together.
Freedom, Cayman Brac. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our Custom Closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. This summer, I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, and now Panama. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal this summer.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Water Authority Cayman would like to inform all its valued customers and the motoring public of emergency works along West End Road, East Cayman Brac. To facilitate these works, all customers east of Billy's Supermarket will experience a service interruption ongoing from since 1:30 for approximately 1 hour. Motorists and other road users are asked to proceed with caution while in the area to ensure their own safety as well as that of the Water Authority staff. The Water Authority apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause and thank you for your patience and understanding.
On Monday, 19th June, we celebrate the King's birthday with 2 time-honored events. First, our uniformed services and clubs will participate in the King's Birthday Parade at 9 a.m. in front of Government House. Later, there will be the customary garden party on the Government House lawn at 4 p.m. Be sure to wear your best outdoor elegant attire, no shorts or flip-flops. Join us as we honor our new King.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. A few messages to read from our listeners responding to comments shared from our callers, but let's take this call first. Welcome, good afternoon. Thank you for calling.
Good afternoon to you, Sterling Green.
And to you, sir. Very good afternoon.
Yes, listen to a few of your callers. Wasn't able to hear very much. But we know for several weeks now, in the last few days, people have been focused on the pensions,
yes, sir,
law and so forth, and the other things that definitely affect our economy. First of all, you've got to understand who made that pension law.
Mm-hmm.
Who made it?
Well, interesting question. Maybe best if you ask and answer. Some would say the parliamentarians passed it, but it was drafted by the private sector.
Elected representatives.
Yeah.
They made the law. Good. With the advice, of course, of the private sector.
Right.
Okay? Can you name me, I give you 30 seconds, any other country that has a mandatory, I repeat it, mandatory pension law that's paid to the private sector and not to the government as a tax?
I must admit.
Can you name another country?
Yeah, you've been a champion of that and question it.
I'm just simply asking you.
No,
anyone out there that can call and ask and answer if they know.
Yeah.
I've never heard of any. My 60 years of working, or 60 years, and I've worked in 4 countries now, including my own here. Never heard of it. Okay, we made that law. So 85-90% of the working population are paying that pension to private sector, mostly insurance companies, and is sent away and invested in private pensions over there in the U.S. mostly, and in other places I imagine, but mostly in the United States. And then also we have a health insurance law that mandates that the same 85 or so 90% pay into a private insurance, mandates it, because you used to have that on radio. It's like, it's the law. You must have that health insurance. You know that. I don't need to repeat that. And made also by our elected representatives. So if the banks can't say, well, they can't get they have to regulate and deal with how the pensions, if they're being refunded or taken out or withdrawn by some people, that's how it should be done, because our elected representative made the law. They should decide on how it's going to be done. The point I'm making is this. It was flawed from the beginning. It was good intentions. It was good intentions, but it's flawed. As I said, and I'll always say this, nothing should be taken from a person's personal income, mandatorily. mandated by the government, except it's a tax to be paid to the government. And there is where the serious problem arose. And that's why you have this problem today for so many people. What we should have done was mandate, I repeat the word, mandate an unemployment compensation tax, which is what all countries use during the pandemic to pay their people. And it's done everywhere in the world. And especially in the Western world, I can speak of, and in Great Britain, that when you're unemployed, there is a fund there that you paid in from a small percentage of your salary, an unemployment compensation tax. Most people will be employed. That's how countries function. It doesn't function on the probability that most of your people will be unemployed. Not at all. It's most, as you read the percentages, 3%, 4%, people get worried unemployed. Right? Then that tax would be paid, a small tax from people's salaries. That's how it's done. It's an unemployment compensation fund. If you choose to have a pension which is not to carry out through life, it's an emergency savings or so forth, then you can have it, but it's voluntary. It's voluntary. Some countries call that a mandatory thing. It's paid. You have social service, social taxes in the United States with Social Security. And then in Canada, it's the Canada pension, the old age pension. I don't know quite a bit about that.
Right.
I've met family up here. And then the health plan, that would have taken care of the people. They wouldn't have had to worry about withdrawing from their pension if they chose to, because it would have been voluntary. But and that would carry them through till they found employment. And you just tone your system down. It's usually about 2/3, between a half to 2/3 of your regular salary or last week or last 2 weeks' salary, so forth. It's controlled government, and that's how it works. They don't expect you to be unemployed for any long period, which most people weren't. And most people maybe had to find new work and so forth. But it tapered out and it worked out. But then again with the health, the same thing. We all pay how it should have been done into a small portion of your salary since it's mandatory. Pay into a small fund out of your salary called a health tax, if you want to put it that way. And it goes in and everybody pays it. Everybody pays it, a percentage. The big man. The big man who gets away now with paying, and the little guy who's paying astronomical health insurance premiums for really nothing. You don't get anything. What you get with the limited amount for a year, and you're still paying, and you have to pay a co-pay and so forth for $6 an hour salary. People, it can't work. That's why we're having this problem economically, and the only people who can solve that, what I just told you, are our elected representatives. Do you think if we have what other countries have, that income tax, and if we have another thing we don't have, our labor unions, which most countries have, if our premier was speaking to a labor union and not the only union that we do have here, which is the employers' union, which is the Chamber of Commerce, do you think the speech would have been the same? I ask you that. I'll listen for your answer. Thank you very much, sir, for taking my call.
And thank you for sharing, sir. Have a good weekend. Let's take a number of callers. Thank you all for sharing. Welcome. Good afternoon. Okay, it's open line and we've got callers. Welcome. Thank you for calling. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. Good afternoon to everybody.
Afternoon, Mr. Raymond, sir. How are you?
Yes, sir. Oh, just here. Things are slow. 3 weeks. Never did any heavy equipment work. Just here doing some mechanic work now, and I listened to the talk show, and I said, let me call in. I want to publicly give my friends all around the Cayman Islands, all the listeners, for Father's Day coming up on Sunday. Wishing all my fathers a happy Father's Day and all the very best. And I have plans to, as I do this every year for Mother's and Father's Day, by directing ships in to celebrate that special day, and also for the King's birthday on Monday. I have found out that we have 45 ships headed towards the Cayman Islands to pass from Sunday morning through Monday evening. That's from north of Cayman Brac to far south of Grand Cayman, 45 ships. So that will show you the billions of dollars worth of cargoes going and coming from United States, Mexico, and some few of them going to Cuba as well, Mariel and other places. That shows us the wealth that goes through our oceans, through the Cayman Island waters.
Well, I certainly appreciate you doing that, sir. And
yes, and another thing, speaking about many islands now, our countries are converting from diesel-powered generators to natural gas-powered generators to be much more efficient. Savings to customers. Jamaica has done that. In the Old Harbor Power Station, they did it in Montego Bay, and they're planning for several other areas. And quite interestingly, Guantanamo Bay Naval Station used to run on diesel fuel. Now they converted to LNG, liquefied natural gas. And yesterday they had a Cayman Island flag tanker, brand new, a year old. It was there at Guantanamo Bay Naval Base, flying Cayman Island flag with Georgetown printed on the stern, pumping out natural gas into the storage tanks in Guantanamo Bay Naval Base in Cuba. They have 4 tanks of 265,000 gallons each tank. Very large tanks that to power the naval base there in Guantanamo Bay. So this tanker, named Avenir Achievement, is Cayman Island flag owned by a British billionaire company. And Jamaica is providing natural gas from storage tankers in Kingston Bight, anchored off there, powering their power plants, and they're selling the natural gas. The company that has it to provide Jamaica has tankers to load, ship-to-ship transfer, and carry it to Puerto Rico and Guantanamo Bay, and they're carrying it up to Savannah, Georgia, to refuel the big container ships right into the harbor. They're refueling the container ships that has natural gas engines in Kingston Harbor. So if Grand Cayman converted to natural gas generators to be more cost-saving and give our customers a decrease in electricity, that's what all of us in the Cayman Islands are looking for and need with the high cost of living, an alternate source of energy. That same tanker that is registered in Georgetown would load from the tanker in Jamaica and deliver it to Grand Cayman into storage tanks.
Yes, sir.
When that day will come, but if that day comes, then we will see a big drop in our efficiency with electricity consumption. We'll have a big drop in the cost of electricity.
Indeed. Mr. Raymond, with respect, sir, thank you for that. I got less than 10 minutes and 2 calls and a break, but thank you and a happy Father's Day to you, to the other callers. Quick short break, and then we'll take yours, and you'll be the last. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
How can you make a classic BLT sandwich even better? Well, by adding tuna. Wow. The land meets the sea in Subway's new sandwich, the Tuna BLT, available for a limited time. The Tuna BLT is exploding with flavor. Imagine crispy, juicy bacon strips on top of tuna, fresh lettuce, and slices of tomato, topped with your favorite sauce and choice of freshly baked bread. Enjoy the best of both worlds with the Tuna BLT from Subway. Subway, eat fresh.
Le Classique is celebrating Father's Day with 30 to 40% off all men's merchandise. That's right. Every shoe, belt, bag, wallet, portfolio, briefcase, everything for men is 30 to 40% off. From classics to comfy loafers, Le Classique offers a wide range of men's footwear, 30 to 40% off. Help Dad arrange his essentials with leather wallets and card holders. And for the traveling businessman, Le Classique has leather briefcases, portfolios, and wheeled travel bags made with exceptional craftsmanship and quality. Make it Le Classique to celebrate Father's Day. This Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. All merchandise for men marked 30 to 40% off. Le Classique, celebrating 40 years of retail excellence. Happy Father's Day.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter will be taking appointments from June 19th to the 24th at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email dr.porterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. That's 946-9020.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. This summer, I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, and now Panama. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal this summer.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
This Father's Day, celebrate the hero in your life with the perfect gift from Reflections Clothing Store. Sale, sale, sale. Save 10 to 75% off brands like Dockers, Levi's, US Polo, Nike, Reebok, Puma, Adidas, Nautica, and more. From timeless classics to modern trends and athletic wear, Reflections has the perfect fit for dad. Save even more with our clearance baskets. Everything priced $10 or less. Don't miss the chance to save big while making dad look his best. Celebrate dad in style and save 10 to 75% off on Dockers, Levi's, US Polo, Nike, Reebok, Puma, Adidas, Nautica, and more. Only at Reflections Clothing Store, Shedden Road, beside Mango Tree, and across from Kirk Napa. Open Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. till 8 p.m. Friday and Saturday, 9 till 9.
Water Authority Cayman would like to inform all its valued customers and the motoring public of emergency works along West End Road East in Cayman Brac. And to facilitate these works, all customers east of Billy's Supermarket will experience a service interruption, which started at 1:30 and which will end in just about 4 minutes at 2:30. Motorists and other road users are asked to proceed with caution while in the area to ensure their own safety as well as that of the Water Authority staff. Water Authority apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause and thanks you for your patience and understanding.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. And it's almost the end of the program. Gonna miss you guys until Tuesday, but let's take some calls if they've been able to hold on. I know time is tight. Let's welcome this caller. Welcome. Good afternoon.
Hello. Good afternoon, Sterling. How are you doing?
Hey, how are you, my friend? Been a while, man. How are you doing?
Giving thanks, man. Giving thanks.
Good to hear from you, man. Thank you for holding on, man. Join us for a chat.
Yeah, I just want to make 2 quick points on, obviously, from your previous 2 callers.
Mm-hmm.
One, I want to say that I sincerely agree with Mr. Mickey when he talks about the pension and the way that it's structured, that it's not in the best interest or benefit of the people of the Cayman Islands, because he is absolutely right when he asks you the question about find another developed country that makes something that is compulsory like pension, but yet we got the private sector managing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is that, to his point, we got almost $3 billion in pensions, or maybe more, that is in 5 different private pension provider houses that invest in our money overseas and not locally. So, when you put something compulsory for people to pay into a pension, it should be managed and controlled by the government. You're not saying that the government has the best methodology for everything, but at least we know where our money is, and we know that if there's any issues, the people can then have a say as to where our money be invested. Now, at the end of the day, it needs to be revamped, it needs to be rethought, it needs to restructure that. Putting our money in all these private institutions for them to go out and reinvest our money in other investment vehicles overseas is wishful thinking that it will be enough money when someone retires to take care of them until the rest of their life is over. But the reality is that we need to have an independent audit on every pension provider so that we can determine whether or not the administration cost outweighs what the investment returns are. And if that is in fact the case, then we got a problem, right? That's number one. And number two, because I know you have other callers and the show is coming to an end. Number two, I heard where Mr. Scott was talking about LNG and natural gases and conversions and all that. One thing that I want to point out is that, yes, maybe natural gas may be cleaner than diesel fuel, but you know what he mentioned in that conversation just now? That Jamaica is feedstocking from a tanker, because Jamaica don't have storage facilities for LNG gas, because storing LNG is far different from storing diesel. It's far more complicated. It's a more evasive thing. And I don't encourage Cayman to go to no natural gas, because we can save our consumers by converting those diesel plants into propane, which is far less evasive and way cheaper. The problem is that we don't have any real regulation on fuel and consumption of fuel, not even at the pumps, and much less the utility company. So if we really want to tackle the cost of living, we need to focus on how we are using the refined products that we're using now, where we're buying it from, and how is it being used here on this island. At the gas stations, I understand cars don't have conversion kits, but all 17-man generators that are being ran over at CUC 365 days a year, they could be retrofitted with propane burners, and we can be burning propane as opposed to diesel, and we'll be burning cleaner and cheaper, and we don't have to worry about putting in LNG storage tanks. And this natural gas is very evasive. I don't think that we should be robbing Peter to pay Paul. If we're going to do something alternatively, it needs to be meaningful and impactful enough that it makes sense. So at the end of the day, there are 2 very good conversations, but we need to make sure that we don't do something ad hoc where we end up paying double than what we're paying now. And the truth of the matter is that we don't have proper storage facility in the Cayman Islands for any type of gas, for that matter. And the reason why I speak so intimately about the LNG and what I'm currently involved in a project in Jamaica now for fuel storage. And I know for a fact that they don't have storage in Jamaica. Petrojam is the largest provider of fuel in Jamaica, and they don't have adequate storage. These are the facts. So again, we need to be super careful on what methodology we use, because we don't want to end up throwing the baby out with the bathwater. So I'll just leave you with that one, Sterling. I know you got the call on the line.
No, thank you, man. Thank you for always speaking from not just your perspective, but informed ones. So hopefully we'll catch up with you soon, all right? All right, let's take possibly the final call. Welcome. Thank you for calling.
Hello.
Hey, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, sir.
How are you today?
I'm good, sir.
All right.
Okay. Concerning to where Mr. Raymond was saying, Mario hit the nail on the head.
Uh-huh.
There's a question that I going to pose to Mr. Raymond. Mr. Raymond probably could answer it. Better, you probably got some knowledge about it. But didn't years ago we had a transshipment and Cayman Brack or
Off the brack, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And didn't the country benefit from that financially?
We were told that it did, yeah.
Yeah, so why is it that it stopped? We got seafaring heritage. Why would anything pertaining to see the amount of ships that Mr. Raymond just is passing here? Why are we not tapping into the resources? They don't want to tax people. Why shouldn't we now get people? God forbid we have a, trial spill. We're not taxing no one. It don't have to be that they're doing a transshipment off our island, but it's with investing into passing across Little Cayman or Cayman Brack.
Uh-huh.
And that happen, and the oil spill affects us. How do we go about cleaning up that? But if we're getting funds from the steam activity passing by, if it's no accident, it will benefit our people.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't government go back to that way?
Well, it's a good question. Let me ask it a different way. Have we come to a space where it would seem that we've been accepting of the notion of the tail wagging the dog in all respects?
That one, I choose not to comment on that one because
that's fine.
As Mario said, we the one they can say, well, boy, we going about it this way. Where is this? It will cost the consumer more.
Yeah.
Until when you see they get real when it comes to putting laws in place and policy enforcement. Because we got tendency, we hear the public complain and we jump in, the politicians going in, put this law in place. They never did the research. They never read about it thoroughly to make sure they cover all the spots and make sure there's no loose end where it later on it could be a legal challenges where they scrap the whole thing altogether. And it were working, but because they never do due diligence, it ended up turning out to be a legal ratification on the government. And this country have a habit of that. And the reason is you got foreigners putting laws in place for us. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
How in God's name you gonna have somebody advocating putting laws in place that it may affect their people? You think that they're not gonna put a loophole somewhere to make sure that their people could challenge it where the other nationalities probably don't have knowledge of it? You think for 1 minute that not happening? It happens far too often in this country, Sterling, and nobody seems to pay attention. And if they do, it's individuals that can't do nothing about making the change to them.
Our brother always says, why complain? Because who listening can't help and who can help not listening.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Right.
So my question to us, what would we do if somebody, a promising politician, an incumbent, or some other individual was to get up and say the things that we all are saying quietly? Sometimes we argue very passionately amongst our closest friends and family in the clearest and sobriety of minds. But it would mean that there was a level of service and sacrifice that's required of us that our ancestors seem to possess and exhibited, but we are unwilling to do today. How would we respond to that person? Would we embrace him? Would we castigate him?
I didn't have to embrace because right now it's kind of questionable. Sometimes you got wonder. We are the same people that came off of them yesteryear generation.
Mm-hmm.
We got to accept that because there's no way in God's name that all of their life they worried about getting things for our people, our future generation. And then when our generation came up, we scrap all of that idea. This is why we here with this problem. When it comes to immigration, they all they come at Jamaicans, they come at the Honduranians. You know the sheep in the room and the big wolf in the room are the white man. They create more havoc every way that they go. They cause divide and they conquer, and every loophole they take and they close up where the indigenous people can't get into. And I can't fathom why in don't we have enough educated minds, qualification, needed be degrees and stuff that we cannot go after this wholeheartedly in the interest of everyone that got papered and everyone that come after.
Yeah, let me invite us to consider something though. Interestingly, the phrase you just used, the white man, and it is just my perspective, okay? I listen to Caymanians and Caymanians only, and by this, maybe I'll add a qualifier, the generational Caymanian. I've gotten from some people a little bit of flack because when I say we're Caymanian, we're all Caymanian if we are by birth or by law. We should be considered as such, and some make a distinction because others make likewise. So let me just say, from the generational Caymanian, I found within our people, and I've been paying particular attention, that we've gone from referring to people who are that we used to call foreigners to now they're white, the color. And I don't have a full understanding of it, so I'm only asking to get better clarity and edification for my own benefit. I wonder if we're allowing ourselves now to be further divided, so it's not just Caymanians and non-Caymanians, Caymanians and expatriates, no longer rich and poor, but it's now color, white and non-white, black, brown, purple, pink, orange, whatever the color of the rainbow happens to be. I wonder if in doing that, no offense to you or anybody else, either indirectly or otherwise, consciously or otherwise, we're now adding another layer that further separates us, clouds our judgment, and creates this thing that adds a little more fuel to the fire, and we lose sight of the big picture because now we're wrestling with some of the little thing that is being magnified. What do you think?
I'm telling that statement that you just said.
Yes.
You know where this problem, when you say, okay, white.
Yes, sir.
We're talking about it in this thing. You remember when they came about this prove that a child is a Caymanian?
Mm-hmm.
You remember that? Okay. When that came about, that was kids and stuff trying to apply for opportunities and all of them law firms and stuff. And that was the foreigners, the foreigner of white complexion stature in this country that got papers or whatever, decide now that you got to prove that you're a Caymanian. Now the person got a birth certificate and the passport. The passport may not be nothing because they don't consider Cayman passport nothing. The birth certificate tells them exactly what your nationality is. Understand? I don't care what you call a whole American, you call whole a European. That birth certificate states exactly what you are and where you're from. You understand? So whenever I seen that made me realize that they were using a stigma thing against our people. And you check it out. Don't get me wrong, you got foreign dark people, but it's the vast majority of them that got their foot in this country. You check it out.
Yeah.
The waiters and stuff in this country needed to be the waiters, the hotel concierge, the managers. You check it out to see who it is. If they're not white, they're stigmatizing against every nationality that comes through the door if they're not a local.
Right.
Check it out.
Yeah, I'm not sort of disagreeing with you. I'm not saying that what exists isn't sometimes racism based on color, ethnicity, and like. But I'm just wondering to what extent we can look at what is happening and find a way to unify ourselves. People like labels, they like to put labels on things so they know what's in the box. They like to assign labels to people because it keeps them in a box. And I know many would say it's naive and gullible, but if we, what is it the lyrics of Bob Marley talk about, not until the color of, a man's skin is no more important color of his eyes, there will be war. If we can look beyond issues like that, we're hearing terms like uber wealthy and now abject poverty. We're being constantly divided, and through division, house divided can't stand. There's greater control, divide and conquer, all right? And you might be right. If a person can go into the bank and get favor because of color, well, that's discrimination. Some would say prejudice, racism. But is that the Cayman that we want?
It isn't the Cayman that we want or the Cayman that we know it to be.
Right.
But it is where it is right now.
So
we can't escape it. It's already, the cow already gone through the gate when it
yeah.
that
Okay.
part of it. Because, okay, there you go back right to the bank. Check it out now.
Mm-hmm.
I walk in and try to get a foreclosure place. Before I even get through the door, a real estate company was done for me. You think that is fair?
Well,
you think that's fair?
I hear you, man. I hear you.
Years ago, whenever a house was foreclosure, before that foreclosure could have gone through, it had to go to court. When they took out that part of it, out the one that was the law that was there,
yep.
They have to be willing now to prove that this person cannot pay a reduced amount of what the actual payment is before they be able to evict that. When that went out through the door, they had an open house right away, and that's where the real estate company stepped in. And I cared Mario all the while for years. And at one point in time, I said, Mario going too hard enough. But I agree wholeheartedly with what Mario used to say when it comes to there are a cartel in this country. Because when you check it out now, the amount of foreigners that's in the real estate agent. And you'll find, if you find any locals there, you know what the locals doing, they're not an agent, you know.
Yeah.
They're up in the background drafting up whatever policies and documents and stuff for to give to the white people now to do the sale and stuff. It's them now that living in the ivory towers versus us doing the real work when it comes to these papers and stuff being drafted up for the sales to go through. And you tell me that's not fair enough.
No, man. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
But the question then remains, you know, if we're not in control, what are we doing, you know, about it? And like you said, you know, as you referenced Mario, you know, Mario D. Rankin, people, as he said, may not like him, may not agree with the things he says, but sometimes, as you just shared, his sentiments are spot on. At least he's willing to speak from a considered perspective, just as you're doing, man. Any final thoughts you want to share with us?
Well, Sterling, any final thoughts? I would like someone that I used to hear Mr. Billy call the while trying to teach our people civics. I think our Cayman leaders and stuff, Dr. Steve and a bunch of them, let's take to this and go back to the times of the town halls where they had these meetings, decide who comes in and who grant startups and all that in this country.
Right.
And start stigmatizing when it comes to the common man, need to be Jamaica, Honduran, Cuban, or Eastern Caribbean, and realize where the bigger problem lies. They could float around their money, so therefore they could do and don't get around. We all don't know how some of these people get the money that they come in here. They come here and wash it. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
They come here and buy real estate, come around and sell it. Now when the money go back to their country, they go as source of funds or real estate. I sold property. You understand? And that's the money clean then. You know, so at the end of the day, the government going to be more realistic, but Caymanians as a whole, please do diligence and root up all of them bad players in government come the next election, because I didn't vote for none of them, because previously I used to vote all the while I rode my life, I'd vote PPM or needed the ruling unity team and stuff, because after the day you have to vote where the elders say. If you live in a house, you do what the elders say. And I went that way in all of my life. And when I become of age and I realized, well, I was following suit. And I realized this don't make no sense. Because you are causing us the same problem that we get up every year, complaining 5-4 years for light, water, you see the banks and insurance, and nothing never changed. So I voted different, and I advise you all, if you find out that your representative have avoided you, have not did nothing, I don't want no handout. I want our people, paper Caymanians and Caymanians, because my father is a paper Caymanian, and he stayed all his life here, traveling, he came and going, and he contribute to anything that affects the common man. So at the end of the day, I want all of us to do our homework, get rid of some of these people that just up in there for salary, some of them that just up in there just for favor.
Yeah,
get rid of them. All right? You have a wonderful weekend, Dwayne.
My friend, thank you. Thank you.
Talk to you in the week again, God's will.
God's will, man. And thank you for taking time to share. Thank you for having the courage to speak, your piece. And hopefully one day, whether you sit across the table and, join us in the studio, or whether you continue to call and share your thoughts, maybe others will be encouraged to do likewise. Thank you very much, all right? And to our listeners, it's going to be, for many of us, celebration of Father's Day. For some, it's going to be heartfelt. Some of us is going to be, a great and wonderful time because it's our first time as a father. The child might only be days old. The child may be decades. But let it be a representation and reflection on the need to stand in the gap and an understanding the calling that too much given and much is required. Let us be a people of not just passion, but purpose. People with great promise and potential. People with a sense of pride that causes us to move with purpose. Purpose to ensure that the future is one that is safe, secure, and stable. We've seen increasingly crimes of violence, and if this is the society that we are prepared to accept, it's only on us. Not only will our forefathers be rolling in their graves, but our future will be one that will look at us with great shame and regret because we have failed to take up the mantle. Doesn't matter where you're from, how long you've been here. If the society is the one that improves the quality of life, that you have a sense of personal safety and security, no matter your wealth, no matter, the space you live, that it is occupied by guards, surrounded by high walls and gate control access. You become a prisoner in your own space. Maybe that's what you want. I sincerely submit it isn't. So together, let's find ways to unite. Doesn't mean we don't argue. We just need to be respectful. Doesn't mean that we have all the answers, but we got to be willing to seek solutions. God's willing, you'll join us Tuesday. Monday will be a holiday for some, others it's just another working day. Purpose, my friends. Let it be positive and productive. Until Tuesday, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to